April is generally graduation month, but thousands of graduates have had to do with solo graduations conducted online in the comfort of their own homes. Does it have the same sense of validation? Well, the University of Pretoria Vice Chancellor Professor Tawana Kupe joins us now via Skype. A very good morning to you, Prof. It's been a while. It's not quite the same, is it? A graduation is it's almost like a marriage or a wedding. It's not just between the student and the institution. There's the community aspect to it, to validate the hard work that's been put in and the person completing their studies and preparing to venture into their professional life. How have you been able to, go through this process? It must have been a difficult one.
Yeah, well, it's not usual, and that's not how we ordinarily want to do it. But let me just remind everybody, good morning, viewers, is that we're going to have the second part, that is the social one that you referred to. This was merely to fulfill the formal legal requirement that a degree is conferred in a ceremony by the designated authority, in this case, myself as Vice Chancellor and Principal. Post-COVID, we're going to have those traditional ceremonies where people walk across the stage, photographs are taken, humiliation happens, there are parties at home and all of those kinds of things. So in fact, what we did was to be creative under conditions of COVID. Do the formal legal ceremony so people can continue with their lives, they have their certificates, which will get to them, their degrees and so on, formally conferred by the Vice Chancellor. And then later on, we have the full Monty, if you like.
It's not a cancellation, it's not a deferment. The graduations are still going to take place.
Yeah, it's going to take place, yes, yeah.
All right.
But what we've done, not to have people's lives on hold because of this. So remember that some people actually often graduate in for some reason, they don't come to the graduation.
Absolutely.
But it's mentioned that all those people whose names are in the program have now received their degree. That's what the Vice Chancellor normally says. By the authority vested in me, I confer degrees on those people whose names are in the program. That was done yesterday. But then there's going to be then a ceremonial aspect to it, where people will walk across the stage, their names will be called out, photographs will be taken, and so on.
So tell us, how have you conducted these virtual, this virtual part of the graduation?
So what we did is I wrote a speech as I normally would. We had all of the formalities of the things set out, and I followed the script as it is. Then I sat in my office with a camera on, and we produced a video, which as we speak right now from yesterday was being sent out to each and every graduate with a letter and a fuller version and my speech as well. So they can watch the graduates, they can hear me conferring degrees on them. And then also in that, I mentioned that we're going to have the formal ceremonies later on.
So the University of Pretoria has been amongst the leading institutions in the country in terms of digitization, artificial intelligence and robotics. How does this time in our lives help in rolling out projects that have up to now been shelved?
Yeah, so what it does actually is that this transition, and you characterize us correctly, we're now making this transition into using more online and digital platforms to both do teaching and learning and research. As we speak right now, we're busy fine-tuning our plans for online teaching. There is a big challenge, which challenge we assist with right at this moment. We're raising resources to actually provide devices to those students that might not have devices to go online. We've also discussed with the telecommunications companies to zero-rate data on all of those websites and other sites on digital platforms on the internet that they can access educational material on. So it's a great of the COVID-19 virus and situation with is not ideal, to put it lightly. It has paralyzed quite a lot of things, but it's also a great opportunity to begin to develop and advance some of the things that we're already working on, which is actually being able to both combine contact teaching, or we call it hybrid teaching and learning at UP, as well as online teaching, which is accessible anywhere at any point and everywhere.
Professor Kupe is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Pretoria. We're in a conversation with him. We'll continue after this short break with our conversation. You're welcome to join into the conversation at the agenda_SABC in terms of your thoughts about virtual graduations. And at this point, we say goodbye to our SABC 2 viewers.